looking for that stupid glowing spot. And looking for the glowing spot, and I'm also looking for the final fossil, which I said might be behind a tree somewhere. Because they can only spawn on dirt and grass, so... that does create a problem if I'm looking for fossils, just because it could be, like, behind a tree or something. And because of the way the camera is positioned, which is a thing I would... oh, there it is. Mormon! Okay, good. Now I can vault, but... and we'll check on our ranking, and check on the fossils, and then just sell a bunch of things, and put... I might also put the money in the bank, so that extra will be saved, because if I spend all of my money, it's going to be... like, most... of the money on me, but I also want to find the glowing spot first, so I can put 10,000 of that away to grow a 30,000 money tree. Which will be really good. Also, like any online community, scammers are becoming more prominent in this community.
How are people scamming people?
Faking trades by either inviting someone to their island and offering, like, asking for exorbitant prices. Someone will, like, go to an island, they'll drop a bunch of items, and the person trading with you will wait a minute, see that you dropped a bunch of items, and they'll just kick you out of their island. Meaning they get to keep what they were offering to trade, and you just dropped millions of bells worth of rare items. Or people will fake, like, item stacks, which is common, like, items that can stack. Like, money bags stack, but money bags can be as small as 1,000. So, someone could fake money for a minute by dropping small bell bags that seem to be, like, say, you know, instead of dropping this many bell bags...
but if you walk over it, you could read it. That's the problem with doing that.
This is the way people still scam, though. Because you and the person trading are dropping items at about the same time, the scammer has already grabbed the item they were looking to get, and by the time you notice the bell bags are off, they've already exited the game. And people are recommending, and now I get trying to avoid scams is, okay, but something people are recommending that kinda irks me, when you see someone's leaving, if you home menu and close out the application, it will disconnect, so people are recommending forcing disconnecting errors as an anti-scam method. And I get if someone's trying to scam you that that's kind of a dick move, but once you start recommending a mass amount of people start fucking with the online, they might start punishing disconnection errors.
Well, the thing was that, like, you know...
donate the fossils.
Well, like, the weird thing was that, is that whenever there's a disconnection error, just in general, neither side is allowed to keep anything.
Neither side...
when you manually end, because you're manually ending, you are allowed to keep...
when you manually end, you're allowed to keep what you were exiting with. So what people are doing, if they think they're being scammed, they disconnect. That way they lose nothing and the scammer doesn't get away with items. Because the reason the scamming works the way it does. And yes, you can walk over items, but because of dropping items, you have to walk over it to see. Someone drops a money bag, someone else drops an item, you run, grab the item, and do that. You're already out oftentimes before people notice, or even if they notice, you're already leaving. And this is the reason the scam became as prominent as it did, which is just people playing with really good timing. Because if you don't catch them, it doesn't matter that you can walk over. Because the thing about, like, the way people are scamming, if you delay dropping items too much, sometimes people will be paranoid and fight you and say, we should drop it about the same time, because they don't want people trying to drop items in a delayed sense to scam, so people will drop it about the same time, but usually that results in people just running over, grabbing the item and exiting, or dropping a less valuable item and just faking things. Sell those fossils. I'm gonna find that glowing spot before putting most of this into sell that fish as well. And, you know, like, I'm not saying that scamming is okay, but cutting off the game and ruining the infrastructure out of paranoia, someone might be slow or something inconveniently stupid could happen that forces someone to not immediately drop items. If someone got interrupted in real life and had to put their game down for a minute, how expensive is this? I just wanna...
Probably exorbitantly. Yep.
Notice what happens in this game now? This shop only gets...
Well, that's always what happens.
These items are apparently worth tons of points, though.
Because they're exorbitantly expensive.
Let's find that glowing spot. So, like, scamming and tricking people is becoming common. Though, certain people falling for certain scams, like this one guy had a video about scamming because he was bitter, and I feel like what he was bitter about, and he admitted it was kind of him being an idiot, where this is 100% his fault. He did a scam for a villager trade, where someone was charging exorbitantly expensive pricing to come and take a villager. Oh, there's the glowing spot. But the person who was doing the scam, the dumb part about the scammer, they didn't even have the villager. And the person never even checked to make sure they actually had the villager that was being offered. They didn't. And, you know... Put away 19. 10,000, that leaves me with 9. Not a lot of money, but I'm probably gonna... Very seriously, I'm probably going to put, like, everything into the house. Might put it in the bank first, so a little bit of... Because I'm trying to save money in the bank, so that we...
Honestly, because the interest is now awful, again, thanks, time traveling assholes, like, I feel putting money in the bank isn't as important as it used to be.
It is worthless, but... having extra money in the bank and still making extra interest is not bad. extra pet football. Nice. Because I did... Let me deposit most of that. I didn't want to see something. Just going in and out, because now, yeah, I only have 486. I know it's not a lot, but now I've actually shot astronomically, and if I deposit, like... If I deposit the 486, now...
Everything is in the bank.
Yeah, everything is now in the bank. 100% I have no money. And I could put... pay for savings, and I could put full amount. And just go ahead and finish it off, and we're basically roughly... a little bit less than I used to have. So that's paid off in full, and I might withdraw a tiny bit just to... withdraw a tiny bit. Just 10,000.
Over here, also check the KK Slider song. Meh.
And I might sell some shells and stuff. Get some extra money.
Meh.
I've done it! Think of how far you've come from a simple tent to a grand 2-story home. Now, surely you have no need of additional space, and yet... where would we be if we never shoot for the moon? Certainly not living on this island paradise. So, with no agenda of further business, I tell you that I can add a basement. Do with that information what you will, and once again, congratulations. Give me the basement, man! My grandiose magnum opus.
So,
now you've weathered some serious sticker shock before, so I'm sure you can handle it, but this will be spendy. All told, we'll be looking at a grand total of $2,498,000.
you could pay that off right now.
No,
Okay, you could pay like...
I'm not putting...
No, I know you're not, but... I know you're not, because that would take like a quarter of the money.
And this goes into the math I was doing.
Because, like, we have like 6,000 in the...
I have
We have like 600,000.
I have $250,000.
Yeah.
Which I was saving so I could have some extra money, and I'm probably...
So, like, that's why I said you could technically pay off the other house loan right now, but it would take like a quarter of what you have, I think.
And this is why I was mathing now. If I... by the time my birthday rolls around... I'm gonna try to make that one... shell bed... Oh, damn it. Hold on. I'm gonna try to make that one shell bed and... sell some other seashells to get some money back.
Then we can stop.
So, basically what I had been mathing out for a while, counting the fact that I get over 100k on fruit every 3 days, if I add 10,000 bells to the loan, if I add 10,000 bells to the loan, just 10,000 a day from the, like, money tree or the money rock, and every 3 days I add the fruit bonuses to the loan as well, and we focus almost entirely on the loan just to cap it off, in 10 days, I will have collectively spent about 400,000 collectively using a 10,000 minimum daily and the 100k. So, in about 2 weeks, I will have paid off about a quarter of the loan using very minimum investments, and that's ignoring extra investments of me adding an extra 10 or 15 if I just get a bunch of seashells and stuff. So, the loan, and I was mathing this, by the time my birthday rolls around, I can easily have paid about $1 million to like $1.5 million. That would only take like a month with minimum investments, which I think is really good. And any additional things I can just sell, like red snappers and stuff. I'm gonna see if I can make the one bed, if I can, cool, and then I can sell the extra seashells, coral and stuff. Probably put a tiny bit of money back in the bank. I'm saving the money in the bank so that I have some money, which is why I put everything in the bank and then just used out of the bank. Because I'm a little bit under what used to be in the bank, but not by much. So, if we focus entirely down, I could actually have this paid off in about 25 to 30 days for most of it, which would be really cool. Meaning, at most, if it takes me about a month to get half, then by July it will definitely be done, and that's ignoring me.
You know, July is when Shark starts spawning. So...
No, June!
Oh, wait, yeah, June.
And that's what I was gonna say, and that's ignoring me spending hours grinding in June to get millions of extra bells and just shark and fish hunting. So, if I start now, well, start tomorrow, I'm not gonna invest now. If I start that low investment idea tomorrow, by the time June rolls around, I might actually have it paid off a little after my birthday. I want to see if I can make the giant clam bed. We can stop in a minute. Now we're gonna get our ranking.
I think you went... Oh, no. Oh, it needs 3 clay.
Oh! Oh. That's easy. Let's go get 3 clay. Cool, 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 cool. We'll have the basement, and then for $2.5 million, I could easily... If I do minimum investment... I might buy one Able Sisters thing, but I'm trying to save money. Because now I kind of want my money to be focused almost entirely into that housing, because after that, all money can more or less be used on anything else, and I don't have to worry about the house being capped off. So, that'll be cool. Able Sisters closed at 9, so I've got 5 minutes to see if they have anything cool. So, that'll work out. And then I'm gonna sell the extra shells and stuff for a bit of extra money, and we're going to spend the next month or two probably not spending a lot of money otherwise, just so I can focus on the house. I just want to see what they have. Huh, yeah, it's about the same as last time. And it's some repeats, so I don't care. other than some slightly different socks and stuff. Yeah, it's basically repeating. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, how do you feel about the way that people were handling scammers at the time? I understand trying to avoid a scam, but I still think it's a bit excessive to exit to the home menu and close the game, especially if someone was being a little bit slow, because all that did was create a bunch of weird paranoia between a bunch of people. Now, if it was an obvious scam, then I think that's not the worst idea, but I still feel like that fucked with the already kind of unstable online infrastructure for the game. And I feel like so many people overreacted to people being a little bit slow, especially because trades and stuff were often driven by a lot of greedy entitlement. And I do understand getting scammed sucks, but fucking with the online when someone is being a little bit slow is somewhat impatient and entitled. Because if someone is being a little bit slow and you're doing a trade, maybe you should have some type of easily available contact, and you should tell that person that you're going to basically talk to them live in order to mitigate misunderstandings, because sometimes people unfortunately get caught up in nonsense, especially since most scams basically went incredibly fast instead of incredibly slow, because they wanted you to not notice that they were trying to trick you. And I do understand why people started doing that, but this is also why I generally avoided trades and stuff anyway, because a lot of people were incredibly impatient and entitled. So, personally, at the time, while I did understand doing that, I do think a lot of people were paranoid for no reason. And that's unfortunate. But with that said, you could get a trade with reasonable people, at least reasonable enough, and it really did come down to who you were interacting with and your general agreements. But this was still a weird time, and this is why I generally did not engage in any of that nonsense. And the few times I attempted to do a couple of trades and stuff was years later. And even then, that was mostly with a few people that were slightly more reasonable. But I will admit, I did dip into a couple of forums and stuff just to try and find somewhat reasonable deals in game to get a couple of items. And to the credit of the people I dealt with, they were not the most unreasonable, but I still overall think all the paranoia never completely went away, though a lot of these people were pretty decent people as long as you talked to them during trades and stuff. And that removed a lot of problems, because I feel like an obvious scam should be something where the person is being somewhat unreasonable and not actually talking with you or trying to make their intentions clear, that is what I would consider an obvious scam. So, when I did a couple of trades and stuff, I was trying to talk to people, explain things, and be super open. And I would try to get people to do things in a way that made enough sense logically in game, going a little bit to the side to find a clear area, drop items, give them a minute to check things, and, in general, just communicate. So, in my mind, like I said, an obvious scam would be a person that's not really talking with you or making their intentions clear versus some communication. And I feel like if people had talked a little bit more, that could have avoided some scams. Now, someone could lie to you, but that would then be more or less on you to figure out that someone was not telling the truth. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments. Or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links as well as my Discord links are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shell for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.